Hello everyone, and welcome again to some brief videos on how to use Schoology in the classroom. This video I want to focus on how you can create rubrics for assignments on Schoology. It's actually a really neat feature that so far I found it works pretty well. So what I'm going to show you here is I had this assignment working on in one of my classes in AP World, and they're making charts about different societies and their attributes, like economic attributes and political attributes and so forth, and they're going to do a presentation on Google Slides. So I have a rubric out that I've used before, and here's the actual rubric for the presentation. Typical, very, straightforward rubric on presenting in the classroom. Okay, but now I actually want to turn this into a rubric on Schoology. Now, why would I want to do that? What I can do then is I could actually, award points, and then it will automatically add those points. And then now if your assignments and everything is tied to your PowerSchool gradebook, it will put those scores automatically in PowerSchool for you. I mean, it's a little bit of time on this end to set it up, but especially these are fairly generic rubrics that you can use over and over again. This is something that's, I think, definitely worth the time investment, because once you have it set up, you can always just click, 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 and then you can send your grade to PowerSchool, and that's pretty fast and pretty efficient. Okay, so how do you do that? Now this is a bit different, and I played around with it and made some mistakes, and I think I figured out the best way to proceed with this. So you click on Resources and go to Personal Resources. If you went to Group Resources or whatever, Public, it would be out there for everybody. And Group, if you actually made groups that you were working with, this might be a nice place to actually put it. But for me, I just went with Personal for now. I have this folder called Rubrics. So I've made a bunch of rubrics for other classes and for other things. Okay, so I'm actually going to now make a new rubric. So you go Add to Resources, and you go Add Rubric. Okay, cool. So you give the rubric a title, and I'm just going to start, copy and pasting for my rubric. I'm not going to, make this any more difficult than it has to be. Okay, great. Now we're going to add some criteria. So I'm going to add political criteria. Okay, boom. And I think that criteria had 10 points. So I'm going to do it like this and just do 10 as a descriptor. But you can I've done other ones. I'll show you. They're a little bit different. Okay, economic. We will do economic as another line here, and we'll add the descriptor. Okay, and I'll do this till I get down to the very end. Okay, so I spared you the pain of watching me do all that. So I have all of my descriptors in now. I put all the little point values, and now I'm just going to sort of actually these are the point values that actually are scores. So these have to be really precise. So I'm gonna do 10. I'll just kind of break it down, maybe like 8. Whoops, excuse me, 8. You can do as much as you like. For me, I'm just gonna keep it kind of simple. 6, and then we'll kind of break it down to maybe less than half would be needs improvement. Okay, so I'll try to do it for other ones that are 10 points. Some are certainly higher, so we'll change those as well. Okay, all right, so 4. All right, I'll keep on doing this. Okay, so I filled out all the ones for 10, but now this one's 20, so I can still add different point values for each box. Okay, and as you can see here in the bottom corner, the point values are now changing. They're getting larger and larger. Okay, and I'm just kind of filling those in. Okay, now they're all done. So now I have 100 points. I have all my categories established. So now I'll go back in. If I want to, I can fill in the boxes. You don't have to. You can even change these markers, excellent, good, to something else. I'll go back to my actual presentation, go back to the top here, and I'll just start copy and pasting, right, these boxes in. So now the students have a better sense of what's going on for each indicator. All right, and I guess we went minimal for this one, which I'll put in for satisfactory. And needs improvement, I guess that's self-explanatory. I guess I won't add anything there, but that's fine. Okay, so I'll go back in now and fill in all these boxes, and then we'll sort of proceed from there. Okay, so now I have all my boxes filled in. I have 100 points. I have some sort of explanation in each box, except for the last column needs improvement. And I feel it looks pretty good. All right, I press create. Awesome. So now it's in my list of Rubrics. Okay, so that's really, really nice. All right, so now how do I how do I assign this? Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to go here to this button, this little cog here. I'm going to add to a course. Okay, so I'm going to actually add it to my AP World course. I did a template course and I did a real course, so I'll just add to both. Okay, so it's actually added there. Okay, so now when you are in your course and you're set up a grade for an assignment, you actually have the option to grab that rubric. So let me go back to my courses and let me go to my AP World class. I'm going to go back to that assignment. I'm going to go back to Persia presentations. Now I didn't make an assignment for it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make an assignment. Okay. I'm going to just call it chapter 4 through 6 Persia presentation. Add some directions here, that's fine. The due date, we'll say, sometime early next week. 100 points it is. I'll call it a project. Now, scale rubric. Okay, I'm going to go to rubric, and now I'll see how I've added other rubrics. AP Persian rubric is there. Okay, and I always curious about what this does, but then it doesn't really do anything, I guess. Okay, great. And visible to students, submissions enabled. Now, I'm going to do advanced here. And what I'm going to do is something a little bit different. Okay. I showed you before how you can create groups. Okay, so let me do this. Okay. So there it is. All right. Excellent. Okay, now I thought it was going to let me actually assign to the groups when I did that. I didn't really individually assign. Oh, okay, now watch this. Okay, you have to type it in. I'm sorry. So I already made groups. So I can go group A, group, whoops, not group, group B, group C, group D, and group E. Because I had the students divided into groups, so then they could work on this together, and they're going to present as a group. Okay, now I'm going to actually go back to my grade book here, and this time the actual grade book, and this assignment will appear, chapter 4 through 6 Persia. Okay, now what I can do is I'm going to I only want to see my groups. So say a group's up at the same time, group A is up, okay, and now I want to go ahead and do my Persia. Okay, so here it comes up, but now as you hover over it, see the little boxes that appear? That is the actual rubric. So I can click on it, and now I can actually work on it. I could click on it during the presentation. So if I thought, oh, that's really good, that's going to add up. See how it's adding automatically? Okay, that wasn't so good. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. So I'm watching the presentation, how nice that is. If I thought I want to make some comments about each individual item, I can add comments right there, type some things up during the presentation, or have maybe some pre-made comments. Oh, I better get that back. Get some pre-made comments there. Okay, and that's how it'll actually work, okay, which is kind of nice. Now, these little buttons are kind of neat too. If I click on this one, it gives me a smaller version of it, which is kind of nice, okay, and then I can, go back and forth between different students. So I, click. I don't think it will change it from this view. I think you only can change it from this view, okay. So then you would just kind of click out of that. I minimized it. All right, and I can go to this person's rubric. It kind of brings it up and just kind of minimizes it. So what I did, I did this for a different assignment for another class, was I only graded, it's a group grade in my respect, so I graded the one, and then I just went back in each individual one and added them all in. I wish it would push the grades to everybody in the group. It doesn't do that automatically, but it's close, right? At least you can have everybody separated. And that's a kind of a nice way to use rubrics and the grades in your book. Now what's going to happen here, let me go back to my PowerSchool. Once those are all in, okay, so what I would do now in PowerSchool is, okay, these are all synced. See, these assignments I've already synced tells me when I synced them. These I did not sync yet, but there's that new one I just made, Chapter 4 through 6 Persia presentations. So when I was all done with those presentations, I pressed sync, and they're all in PowerSchool. I'm done. So again, I think it's kind of a neat way to use rubrics, grade things digitally, and minimize your workflow. So I hope that was a helpful one, and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.